Sixth Speaker of the National Assembly will be elected today, and Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula is in pole position. The former Defence Minister is essentially being swapped out with former Speaker Thandi Modise, who took over her portfolio in Cabinet. It's expected that the opposition will nominate their own candidate, but ENCA's Lindsay Dentlinger is in Parliament monitoring that story for us. I've forgotten how windy that precinct is, Lindsay. It's just capable of making you fly away. Stay grounded. What's happening?
Morning, Annika. Well, it's a rather quiet morning here in the parliamentary precinct. I was expecting more activity. It's the first time since the start of the lockdown last year that almost all MPs, except of course those who have health concerns, are expected to return to the House, Annika, because as you know, they need to conduct the secret ballots here in person. Parliament is still testing its online voting capabilities and said last week that they didn't want to test that for such an auspicious occasion as this one. You will know it's only the second time that a speaker is being elected outside of a general election. The last time we saw Baleka Mbete's first term being cut short so that she could take up the job of the Deputy President. And so this is a little bit of an unusual occasion, twofold, Annika. Firstly, because we don't generally see a speaker not complete their 5-year term and the House being called to vote during a term for a new speaker. And secondly, because of the pandemic that we find ourselves in and the precautions that Parliament needs to take today to ensure all the MPs remain safe. But to discuss that with me on hand, I have parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Matapo, just to talk us through, Annika, some of the changes that will have to be made today, of course sticking to the letter of the Constitution that this be a secret ballot, but still maintaining safety protocols. Moloto, thank you for joining us this morning. If you can just explain to our viewers, what will we see happen a little bit differently today, for example, what we saw 2 years ago when Thandi Modise was elected Speaker?
Yeah, well, the difference will be, of course, that we are operating under the conditions of COVID-19. We have to observe the regulations very strictly. And that's the reason why this particular special sitting to elect the new Speaker of the National Assembly will be taking place from 4 different areas, if I have to put it that way. There will be members who are on the usual chamber, on the floor of the chamber, and the other members, group of members, will be up there in the public gallery, where you normally find the members of the public and the other officials sitting. And then there will also be other members who are in a committee room called E249, which is just above a floor above the National Assembly. So that is intended really to ensure that there is appropriate social distancing and to protect the members of Parliament against any infection. As you know, that we are on a third wave and under level 3. So that is really part of it. But of course, these 3 areas will be converged through technology into one to ensure that regardless of where members are seated, they are able to follow and they are linked to the main sitting of the National Assembly. So as probably yourself, as you are coming in, you have seen that you have been screened, you have gone through all the appropriate protocols. So will be the members of Parliament as they are coming in for the 11 o'clock sitting.
Moloto, not to draw you too much into the politics of today, but of course this is a highly politicized situation we find ourselves in today. We understand one opposition party has said they will boycott the vote. Another is expected to put up their own candidate. The Parliament has also received a letter from an outside organisation, members of the public who have expressed concern about one of the candidates being nominated today. How does Parliament treat a complaint like that that emanates outside of the parliamentary structures?
Well, I suppose members of the public have got the right to petition and to write to their Parliament to deposit whatever complaints that they may have about the procedure that Parliament is following. But I must say that that particular letter has got no legal or constitutional basis to stop a special and a crucial constitutional process such as the one that we are anticipating today. Because if you really want to stop such a serious constitutional process, you need to have a constitutional and legal basis to do so. And when we read the letter, it does not have such. So we will just take it as their opinion. The acting Speaker of the National Assembly will consider the letter and he will respond appropriately. But having said that, we must indicate that the sitting, as you can see, it's all systems go, at 11 o'clock is going ahead. Those political parties who do not want to participate, they have got their rights to do so. It is within their constitutional right to stay away and not to participate. But the sitting will go ahead.
Thank you very much. That's Malota Matapo, the parliamentary spokesperson. Annika just taking us through some of the steps. So we'll see things happen a little bit differently today, but of course still sticking to the letter of the Constitution. The Western Cape Judge President John Hlophe will be presiding over this election today, and to make sure that everything runs smoothly and that it's a fair process.
Lindsay, what are you hearing from inside the ANC caucus? I know that there are not a lot of people there, but in terms of, is this a very convenient political side shuffle to by the President Cyril Ramaphosa to move Thandi Modise into speaker position and out of speaker position and into defence and take some of the spotlight away from Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula?
Well, I don't know if it's going to take some of the spotlight away, Annika. We know there are concerns raised, allegations against her that I should point out are untested, but whether she's really a suitable candidate to make the swap. For whatever reason people think the president decided not to keep her on as the defence minister, we should really remind our viewers that this is actually a promotion in terms of pay anyway, Annika. The speaker is better paid than a minister, and so whatever unhappiness there may be about her taking up this position, and we know for sure that opposition parties, several of them, are unhappy that this swap is being effected. We know the ANC not really to step out of line to maybe nominate an alternative candidate, very much towing the line. This is a directive from Luthuli House that she be put forward as the party's nominee for today's position. So I think the party banding together, holding the line, keeping the ranks, and we're not expected to see anybody step out and counter, certainly from within the party, the candidate that the top structures want to take up the seat and become Thandi Modise's successor.
Lindsay Dentlinger, keep warm there at Parliament. Thank you so much for crossing to us, and we'll wait and see that outcome. Remember that that vote starts at 11 o'clock, and it's the first time that the House will have sat since the beginning of the pandemic, certainly a full National Assembly.